Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Lady Fatima al-Zahra Salamullah alayha is the only daughter of the Prophet, is the one who was upbrought by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the household of the Prophet from the very childhood, and she didn't experience the time of ignorance. Even though the Prophet himself at the time of ignorance was immune and pure from the dirt of the society and the darkness of the ignorance. But anyhow, Lady Fatima is uh, born in the house of the Prophet, the time that the Prophet was a man of God, was the Prophet of God. And when the Prophet married to a mother like Khadija Salamullah alayha, and being uprooted by such great personalities, she is of a very great character. Speaking about her personality, we have to bear in mind the time of the Fatima Zahra and the time of the Prophet and the society that they were living in a society that people had no understanding, a true understanding of noble traits of character. In such a condition, in such an atmosphere, the Prophet of Allah came and he said, in summarizing his mission, saying, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ, I was sent to accomplish the noble traits of character, meaning that the previous prophets did some efforts in order to bring people to true characters, to good characters, and I have come to accomplish it and to make it at its tip, which is possible for human being. And he was the best role model for this. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this was a great mercy of Allah that gave you a great temper and good heart and perfect morality that makes people to gather around you. And if you were a hard-hearted person, they would have scattered from around you. So such a father has uprooted Lady Fatima, and you know Lady Fatima is the only daughter of the Prophet from the Prophet's lineage. And the other daughters who were in the house of the Prophet, they were stepdaughters of the Prophet. So they were daughters of the Lady Khadija from other husbands before marrying the Prophet. But after marrying the Prophet, the only daughter that the Prophet had from Khadija Salamullah alayha is Fatima al-Zahra. So she is the only daughter of the Prophet, and being abroad in such atmosphere and being abroad and trained by the Prophet, she has such great personality that the Prophet of Allah says, I do not like any person in my household the way that I like Fatima, and I like her more than anyone else. And you know, the love and the like of the Prophet towards a person, the Prophet's affliction towards a person is not only a matter of father and daughter relation, but it is because of the personality and character of Lady Fatima al-Zahra, Salamullah alayha. And we can easily find it by studying the lady's lifestyle, the lady's history, the way she behaved others, the way that she behaved her father, her husband, children, and those who were around her, the slaves. You know, they had slaves at home. And what we see in the lifetime of the Prophet and the Lady Fatima al-Zahra, we see that doing the home affairs and chores of the home, they had divided days of the week. So a day was on Lady Fatima al-Zahra and the other day was on her slaves. At the time that even today in Arabic culture and societies that you see when there are workers or slaves at home, of course, when we say slaves, meaning in its modern form, there are lots of complaints about being mistreated by the house lords. But at the time of the Prophet, 14 centuries ago, you see that Lady Fatima divides the home affairs one day herself and one day on her slaves, not to put extra burden on them. Talking about Lady's character, Lady Fatima Zahra's personality, we can read historical narrations on the way that she behaved others. Even though Lady lived for a very short time of 18 years, but this very benevolent 18 years are full of lessons that we can learn and we can follow, as we have the hadith from Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam saying, in the daughter of the Prophet, there is a great role model for me. So even a person like Imam al-Mahdi calls Lady Fatima Zahra as a great role model for himself. And we can find it in what we can find in the history, the narrations that we have about the personality of Lady, the way that she behaved her children, her two sons and daughters. It is very modern. Even today when we study, we can have the way that Lady treated her children, a very perfect role model for upbringing our children. And bear in mind that she was living 14, 15 centuries ago in a very backward society in a desert of the Arabian Peninsula. In that very backward society, and 15 centuries ago, a lady living with these noble traits of character, this itself is a great miracle of the Prophet, upbringing such people with these great personalities and characters that even today, after all this long time, still they are eye-catching and shining in the history of human being, and people can have them as role models and follow them in getting towards Allah and getting to great traits of character. There is a hadith narration that once a person came to Lady, she was a woman, and she asked Lady lots of questions. So Lady Fatima Zahra answered the questions all. So it was so many questions that that woman, she herself was embarrassed, saying, I bothered you a lot. I bothered you a lot. But what was the answer of the Lady Fatima? Saying that, no, it was a great joy for me. I enjoyed answering your questions, and I know that answering you is a great chance and fortune to me. So what you are giving to me is much more than what I have given to you. And by helping you, I am getting close to Allah, and the fruit for me is great. So I'm not getting tired. This is the way that she treated others. When you look at the way that she treated slaves, as I said, the way that she treated her husband, that Imam Ali alayhi salam said, she is the best companion to get close to Allah. And she never made me unhappy. She never made me angry. She never demanded or asked something that was beyond my capability to provide for her. So the way that she treats Imam Ali and her children, even those lullabies that we see Lady Fatima chanted for her children when they were infants. There are lots of teachings for us in those lullabies that we can listen to them, and we can analyze them, seeing that lady, even in the lullabies that she chanted for her children, she was giving them those great characters of nobility and providing them with perfection. Uh, Imagine it's a society dominated by male, and women were not that much present in the society. But Lady Fatima, uh, in such a society, has the chance and given the chance by the Prophet to be involved in sort of social affairs at the same time that she is the lady and the wife of Imam Ali at home, and having control of home, and doing her responsibility in society, trying to show the beauty of faith to people and to women of believers. And inshallah, we ask Allah to give us the chance to be among the real followers of Ahlul Bayt and Lady Fatimatul Zahra, and to have inculcating those noble traits of character and having her as our role models.